Right, we are now live. Hello, 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 everybody. It's me again here, Aryan. I'm coming to you live from I'm home in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. It's December 9, 2024, and it's already almost 11:30 p.m. here. But again, I'm determined to show up for my business, so I'm doing this live this evening. So again, if this is the first time that you're seeing me or my face or my page, again, it's me, Aryan, and I am a Filipino immigrant living here in Windsor together with my husband and two young boys. And I used to be an SAP programmer back in the Philippines, but during the pandemic, we had a wake up call. And so when the opportunity to come to Canada was presented to us, we took it and we were so ready to face the challenge here. Of course, we wanted greener pastures. And so I started here as a student, juggling multiple jobs. Started as a cleaner, concierge, and move-in coordinator in a rental property management company. And um, I finished my course last December 2022. After that, I took the PMP certification exam and eventually landed an IT analyst job in the food distribution company here. And while I have a day job, I am also doing this digital business on the side. So I here in this digital business, I help dedicated corporate parents and working individuals create an online income stream to have more precious time with their family and their kids. So that is me. So, what is our topic for today? I just want to hop in quickly in here to um, discuss about what actually motivates me to keep going in this business, in this digital business. So you might say you're already a busy mom, you already have a day job, maybe you are getting a good salary, right? Or you already have a day job and you're taking care of your family. How do you still find time to do this digital business, right? So I'm gonna, I guess, be a little vulnerable here, and I'm going to tell you my story in a little while. Uh, um, and I just hope that it will actually inspire and motivate you as well. So first of all, I apologize for this virtual background because last weekend we went to Toronto to celebrate the digital business community Christmas party. And yesterday we went to Canada's Wonderland with the kids. And so a lot of the mess are still around. But that's why I'm using this virtual background. So I apologize for this because it's not very sharp. Okay. Yeah, so to start off the discussion, let me just give you, I guess, a very quick background about my life back as a software developer, particularly as an SAP programmer. So, again, I worked in the IT industry for more than 12 years. I started in 2009. My dream company actually was Accenture, and I am very fortunate to have been hired there in 2009. And I stayed there for about 3.5 or 4 years before I moved to another company. And right before we left for Canada, I came back. I got hired back in Accenture as well. But for the most part, yes, I am a software engineer or an SAP programmer, ABAP programmer. So, what was life actually back then? So, again, I mentioned before in my previous lives that I started a family early. At the same time, actually, when I got hired in Accenture, I got hired when I after I knew that I was pregnant. And I was so lucky, so fortunate that they still hired me, right? So the thing is, in the IT industry back in the Philippines, there are a lot of competition. Um, as the years pass, the IT professionals, number of IT professionals, and number of companies as well are increased rapidly as well in the Philippines because labor force in the Philippines, I guess, are cheaper than other countries, and Filipinos are very determined in life, and that industry actually was the reason why I guess IT and the call center industry, they're the reason why a lot of professionals were also they also have graveyard shifts because back then, before 2009, that it wasn't as rampant, but then every year it increased rapidly. And so here are actually the reasons why, um or not the reasons, but um how I would probably describe my life as a programmer back then. So number one, uh okay, the work environment is actually toxic or stressful. And it's because we're constantly dealing, because I'm a programmer, right? And I have a team, I have a project that I belong in. So we're constantly dealing with tight deadlines, heavy workloads, and then imagine you have a boss like breathing in your neck, and there are like office politics, micromanagement, unrealistic expectations, and some IT teams are treated as the fix all, right? It's the fix all department. Like, oh, you're an IT, you know how to do this, or you're an IT, you should resolve this, blah, blah, blah. So things like that. And as a programmer myself, because I always work in the back end, there's actually less appreciation or recognition because I felt then also that it's just normal to for us as programmers to investigate and resolve issues, right? It was for me back then, it was hard enough to um do some extra effort that can be recognized. And and because of that, the work often goes unnoticed. Like we're always waiting for something that would break. But then imagine if something breaks, it's kind of it's kind of our fault or something like that. And the feeling. So that's what I meant by toxic or stressful work environment, right? And of course we have projects. We have to deliver the deliverables or the request of the clients, right? Sometimes we also had to face irate clients. So that's what I meant by toxic or stressful work environment. And also, during the performance season, you'd have to compete with other colleagues, right? So you really have to be at least competitive to get the promotion or get recognized or get a higher bonus or things like that. So that's how toxic it was. Imagine you're like constantly over, let's say for a year or for that for a particular year, you are um, exuding so much effort, but then oftentimes it still goes unnoticed. So that was how I felt before. And the other situation is there's a constant pressure to keep up with the technology changes because again the technology industry is rapidly changing, right? And yeah, so it's rapidly changing, and programmers or IT professionals like us, when we feel that pressure, there's anxiety, and that anxiety comes from thinking that we're gonna be somehow obsolete. Because if we don't like update our skills, if we don't upgrade what we know, right? What we currently know, there's this risk or there's this fear of being obsolete. It actually around 5 to 7 years ago, I felt this way because a new version of SAP was in the works. It was They were working on the SAP cloud, and everything is different. Like it's a different one from the on-premise or the traditional SAP that we were working on. And there were rumors back then that my specialty as an ABAP programmer will be obsolete, will become obsolete once it's out because it will be replaced by full stack developers. And you know what? Years later, true enough, maybe it wasn't completely replaced, but a lot more full stack developers are getting hired for the job. So that's one of the challenges as well. And another situation is the work life imbalance, which I guess we all feel, right? Even when you're not in the IT industry, most especially if you're a parent, and you're working for the family to put food on the table and you have kids, right? Especially in the Philippines, we have to work for at least 8 or 9 hours and then commute for several hours as well before we can come home to our kids. And that actually takes up a lot of time, too much time, right? And then there are also times that we had to stay for long hours or longer hours because we had to complete projects. We have system rollouts, we have critical issues to investigate, and clients are waiting for the resolution, things like that. And when you are in a graveyard shift, because I experienced that as well. I was in mid shift, and I'm not sure if I experienced night shift when I was in the call center industry, but in IT industry, at least the mid shift, I experienced that one. So the clients on the other side of the globe are waiting for the issue to be fixed, right? So you can't come home until it's fixed, especially if it's a financial related issue. So things like that, it tosses us off an imbalance, right, in our lives. And you know, for IT people, we also have this on-call responsibilities. If you can relate to that, so it's like you don't even have um, a peaceful weekend because you are on call, and you have to be ready to take on the call once they call you from the work phone. And this is because we have 24/7 support, right? Just in case there are downtimes or emergencies that we have to resolve immediately. So those things happen in the IT world, and that is just so stressful. So another thing that's under the work life imbalance is, as I mentioned earlier, the commuting challenges. So I'm not sure if you've heard of my story in my previous lives, but I told um, I was able to mention in there that I work 9, 10, even 12 to 15 hours sometimes, and then the commuting takes about 3 to 4 hours and sometimes five, back and forth. So more than half of my day is already spent at work and commuting. And there's nothing left for my kids or my family. So that was the situation back then. So imagine, facing these situations every single day, every single day. It was so stressful and exhausting. And then, somewhere in the middle of my career, I just realized that that situation that I was in is not stable because I was in a constant fight or flight mode, like literally, because I felt that way because my body becomes or became prone to sickness. And I also mentioned that I was always sickly because I always exhaust the time off that I have in a year. And I also realized that that lifestyle is not sustainable because I was already tired. I was already burnt out. And I don't think, I realized back then that I don't think I can last for another 10 years with that kind of work environment. I'm not sure if you can relate to that, but if you have the same situation, you know, just try to comment down below if you can relate to those situations. So on the other hand, though, uh, so 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 I don't think I can last right for another 10 years with that kind of work environment, with that kind of imbalance. And before the opportunity to came to Canada came, would you believe that I couldn't wait to resign? Even if I got hired back in Accenture in my dream company, I couldn't wait to resign. I think everything aligned during that time because I was assigned to the Canada market, and I enjoyed the experience as well because that was actually the time that I learned about the SAP Cloud and BTP, the new technologies that SAP were actually building years ago. So that was the time that I encountered those new technologies. But I guess I was already coming from the pandemic. I was already very tired and exhausted. And so I couldn't wait to resign, even if it was actually my goal to come back to my dream company. So um that's what happened. But of course, on the other hand, I don't want to discredit the company and the people that I've worked with, because whatever happened in the past as in my past as an SAP programmer, I still learned a lot, and I believe I will not be who I am today if not because of the challenges that I faced back then. I had a lot. I won't be able to mention everything because only God knows how much I endured back then. But it will be unfair to say that, I didn't enjoy my experience or that I hated it because, again, I still have experienced so much that it actually pushed me harder to where I am right now. So, well, it is what it is. It is the life of an IT professional back in the Philippines. Yes, it could be rewarding because compared to other professions, compared to other industries, it's giving a good salary, a good package, good benefits, but it wasn't really enough to get us ahead in life. So I knew as an ambitious mom that I had bigger dreams. I really have bigger dreams, you know. So this is kind of a real talk, and I don't want to sugarcoat. Now, what actually keeps me going, getting back to the topic, what actually keeps me going in my digital business is first the fact this is real talk, okay? So this might be, I don't know, it might be off for others, but this is really my reason. So what actually keeps me going in my digital business is first the fact that I don't want to go back to that kind of lifestyle. I don't want to experience those same things again because that's, I don't know, that was really it really exhausts my energy. It really exhausts my energy. And I just feel that it's too much work for me. And I thought, I really thought, well, back in college, I didn't really even aspire to become a programmer, but that's what happened. I got in Accenture as a programmer. But I learned to love what I'm doing, what I was doing before, because I guess only because of the salary and the benefits package. But other than that, it was also because of the challenges that I faced, it also became hard for me to really love what I was doing. And I didn't get the fulfillment of doing that job. I just felt that I really had to do it because I had to work for the family. And I don't want to kid or I don't want to kid myself, right? But that was what I really felt. So I just felt that if I would go back to getting that kind of work or being in that kind of work environment or that lifestyle, I literally feel that I die young. If if I would stress myself too much, because again, as I said, I became very sickly during those times. You know, again, exhausting my all my sick leaves every year, and feeling guilty whenever I take the time offs, and it's not a great feeling. Like every time that you're coming back from a vacation, it's I don't know what that feeling was like. Was it guilt or I don't know. I don't really know. So that was my situation before. And the second one is what keeps me going is my family, of course, because I knew that I cannot just stop and wait for life to happen. Because if I don't want to go back to that kind of lifestyle, what will I do now? Like, how can I get ahead in life? Do I just wait for life to happen? Of course not. I just knew that I needed to take charge of my life and my own success. And I realized this after I graduated from my study here in Canada. Because one of my goals in my career was to pass the PMP certification exam. But after passing that certification, um, I believed it was an addition to my credentials, but it wasn't really the one that helped me get my job. And I felt that my job right now as an IT analyst is kind of more enjoyable. Here, I get the fulfillment because I see my worth when I'm doing my job, like how important the role is in the company. And unlike before, that I was working in the back end, resolving these issues, but not getting recognized. And so I also, so because of that, I felt that I didn't need to like climb up the ladder here and try to go back to the career of being a project manager. I mean, the stakes wasn't compelling. I mean, as compelling for me. So I didn't want to stress myself to take that challenge or go back to that kind of work or job or lifestyle, because of course it would entail so much effort and responsibilities. And so again, we came here in Canada because we prioritized our family, because we have bigger dreams for our family. And I don't want to sacrifice that again just for me to climb up the corporate ladder. So I knew then after taking the PMP certification exam that I didn't need to climb up the ladder just for us to have a better life here. And that is actually the reason why I was so glad that I found this digital business, because this is actually my vehicle or tool to achieve my bigger dreams. Because I knew that if I stayed in this job or in, being an IT professional or being an employed personnel or professional, I won't be able, I will never be free. Let's just put it that way. I will never be free because I'm working for a boss, because I'm working for a company, and that company has their own visions, which is not related to mine or not even aligned with mine, right? I'm just helping the company. I'm just helping my bosses so that they can have bigger revenue. And again, right now that I'm doing the IT analyst job, I'm enjoying it because it wasn't as stressful as being an SAP programmer. But still, I can see this as a temporary phase in my life, because I badly wanted to embrace the career as a digital entrepreneur, because I knew that this is really the future. And so the third reason why what's keeping me going, what keeps me going in the digital business is I know that there are people who are watching me. I know that. And they're trying to see whether this digital business works for me, because they might want to do the same thing too. They might have, the same aspirations, or maybe they're also in a difficult situation. The ones that I mentioned earlier, which, described my situation before, right? They might be in the same situation too, that they want to get out of. So, whatever that is, it actually fuels me to know that I can help a lot more people in the future. And that actually, I believe, is how I will create a legacy for myself. So after getting or passing that PMP certification exam, I asked myself, how can I use this? If I'm an IT analyst and I'm not a project manager, how can I use these learnings, these knowledge, and share it to the world and share it to other people if I'm not a project manager? And so I realized that maybe this is why I found out about this digital business, because this is where I'm going to apply it. And that would let me create that legacy. And that legacy is, I knew that it is what I can leave behind even after I leave this world. So I know it's kind of cringy or dramatic, but again, this is a bigger responsibility, but a responsibility that I enjoy doing. It's because I'm helping others. I am inspiring people. I'm trying to motivate people that life is beautiful, and there are a lot of things that can be achieved, other than having, whatever your job is right now or whatever your situation is right now. There's something more to that. There's something more in this life that you can achieve. So this is, again, this is bigger than me now. So why not take that challenge, right? So that's it. If you think this actually resonates with you, if you think that you are in a situation you want to get out of, then maybe this is also, or this can also be your life changing opportunity for you. So don't hesitate. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And again, the first step is to just register in my website below to watch the free info session. And then we can talk afterwards. See how this digital business can really help you, because it can. And we have a lot of proof already that it's happened to a lot of people around the globe. So, there. I hope you got some inspiration, some value from this quick discussion tonight. But I'll see you again in my next live tomorrow. Bye for now. Good night.